In an already backbreaking industry, Arizona farmers don't need a greedy corporate monopoly making their lives harder.
On a farm scattered across 2 Missouri counties,
I've been farming my entire life.
Jared Wilson is harvesting corn and soybeans.
Particularly for soybeans, I mean, we're always fighting to get the crop out before bad weather sets in.
I've met with farmers numerous times over the last few years, and one of the biggest pain points they share is that they're no longer able to easily repair their own equipment, or even be able to take their tractors and combines to independent repair shops.
You know the slogan, nothing runs like a Deere? Well, now John Deere's running all the way to Mexico, slashing more than 600 jobs in Illinois and Iowa in the process. This is just recently.
We did also reach out to John Deere, who called the FTC's lawsuit baseless, saying in part, this lawsuit, filed on the eve of a change in administration, ignores the company's longstanding commitment to customer self-repair and the consistent progress and innovation we have made over time.
And the thing to remember is John Deere is not hurting for cash. They've been in the wake of record profits for years now. In fact, last year in 2023, they experienced $10 billion in profit. They spent $7.2 billion in stock buybacks. Paid $1.4 billion in share dividends, and awarded $26.7 million to CEO John May.
The U.S. government, from the FTC and the president to the Arizona Attorney General, has dropped the antitrust gauntlet at Deere. The charge? Deere's made American farmers dangerously reliant on its exclusive service advisor dealer software, making it a necessity for diagnosing, recalibrating, and even warming up a tractor on a chilly dawn. Repairs are barred from independent fixers and direct fix farmers. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we stay ahead of the YouTube algorithm. The result has been extreme. Farmers have grumbled for years. Whether battling corn stalks or firmware bugs, tractors and combines too often sat broken, waiting for an authorized tractor whisperer. As the now ex-chair of the FTC, Lina Khan, pointed out that these are unfair repair restrictions, farmers are facing holdups during tight planting and harvesting windows. It gets worse. Some dealer centers are closed tight after Friday evening, so even when these problems emerge, breakdowns are left to simmer through the weekend. Paired with the mass layoffs that shocked even right-wing capitalists, both observers and ex-employees are noting just how devastating this move to Mexico is going to be for both loyal Deere buyers and workers. The brunt of the impact is hitting the already marginalized demographic from small towns, as if they didn't have to weather enough problems already. On the other side, January 15th, 2025, saw Deere hit back with a statement labeled baseless lawsuit, meritless, and punishment for innovation. It claimed to be on the cusp of deploying new repair tools via its 2023 Equipment mobile app, with a broader release planned by late 2025. Insiders, however, are quick to mention that Deere has no real need to be saving these costs. Having made record profits in recent years, it's unclear why the company is making the move to Mexico while staying firm in its stance about the Right to Repair Act. It's a high-stakes showdown over tractors, trust, and, much to the chagrin of Midwestern mechanics, a thigh-deep, down-on-your-knees kind of drama. At stake is who owns the right to twist a wrench on a $400,000 tractor.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
Prior to becoming president in 2025, Donald Trump took the stage in Pennsylvania to announce that he might be sending a 200% tariff to John Deere soon, if the tractor manufacturer moved to Mexico. His framing suggested a familiar blend of punishment and deterrent. If Deere makes the shift, Trump's government will be putting a 200% tariff on everything that they want to sell into the United States. It's interesting to note that this was the first time the current president extended his signature tariff rhetoric to the agricultural equipment sector, as it had previously been aimed at automakers. Then, by March 2025, as other tariffs under the Trump administration were broadly enacted, Deere estimated an additional $500 million in tariff costs. This, as a result, ended up prompting its plans to shuffle production back, or shift it strategically to sidestep the levy-laden imports.
The Federal Trade Commission, along with Illinois and Minnesota, are suing John Deere. A 37-page suit filed on Wednesday accuses the equipment manufacturer of violating state antitrust laws and the Sherman and FTC Act by withholding repair programs from its customers, saying the company forces farmers to pay higher costs and travel further to authorized John Deere dealers.
In a move that sent shockwaves, or at least mild vibrations, through the tractor world, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, joined by the state of Minnesota, filed a 37-page lawsuit against John Deere in early 2025. The allegation was simple: that America's most iconic farm equipment manufacturer may have confused right to repair with right to monopolize. The complaint accuses Deere and Company of violating state antitrust laws, the Sherman Act, and the FTC Act by deliberately withholding access to key repair tools and software, specifically the ones needed to service the complex electronic control units inside modern tractors. These ECUs are the digital brains of today's farm machinery, and, according to the lawsuit, Deere's control over them essentially forces farmers to go through Deere-certified dealers for even basic diagnostics or fixes. The result? Higher repair costs and long travel times just to reach an authorized service center. If your tractor breaks down in rural North Dakota, Farmers Union called the lawsuit a small but meaningful win in the broader struggle for competition and repair rights. John Deere, for its part, has defended its approach as a matter of safety, performance, and yes, protecting the integrity of its equipment. After all, who among us hasn't wanted to solder a few wires inside a $500,000 combine with YouTube as our only guide?
Well, look, the FTC has been focused these last few years in making sure that Americans can enjoy the right to repair. I've met with farmers numerous times over the last few years, and one of the biggest pain points they share is that they're no longer able to easily repair their own equipment.
In classic regulator versus agricultural mecha corporation fashion, FTC Chair Lena Khan took to the airwaves to explain why her agency is now gunning straight for the John Deere monopoly. And to her credit, she didn't mince words or parts. According to Khan, the FTC didn't just wake up one morning and decide to take on the world's most iconic lawn-themed behemoth. No, she says the agency has spent years listening to farmers. And what they heard was not just frustration, but real economic harm, with crops lost and many hours wasted. Basically, rural repair deserts. She mentioned how one farmer even had to drive 200 miles just to reset an error code. Critics have already claimed the timing of the suit is political, an attempt to score points in an election year. But Khan was having none of that. To her, this is about the right to repair, which, in 2025, apparently means needing regulatory backup just to change the battery on a $600,000 piece of equipment. If her tone was calm, her message was clear. Monopolistic control over digital repair tools isn't just unfair, it's un-American. In a country that glorifies the do-it-yourself spirit, we now have farmers who can't fix the tractors they bought with their own calloused hands because the error codes are encrypted like nuclear launch codes. In perhaps the most damning line of the day, Khan noted that some farmers had lost entire crops because their machines sat deadlocked in a digital coma, waiting for a Deere tech to arrive like a reluctant tractor charmer.
In the ruling, the judge rejected John Deere's argument that our claim of its monopolization was not sufficient. Because of John Deere's limitations, Dave Pyle, who operates Broken Horn D Cattle Ranch in Prescott, has to drive 6 hours for a simple fix. In an already backbreaking industry, Arizona farmers don't need a greedy corporate monopoly making their lives harder. They need more options to fix their equipment in a timely manner. As Arizona's Attorney General, I'm fighting for Arizonans and against practices that stifle competition and hurt farmers.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays also has ridden into this legal showdown with spurs jangling and a message loud enough to echo across every cornfield and cotton patch in the state. When it comes to big ag monopolies like John Deere, she's not here to play nice. As part of the FTC-led lawsuit, Mays called out the company's stranglehold on repair access, accusing Deere of squeezing farmers dry by locking them into overpriced dealer networks. She framed the issue as both a rural justice and consumer rights battle and has been vocal about corporate overreach. Mays argued that the case isn't just about tractor software, it's about breaking monopolistic greed that drives up costs for small producers. her stance has won praise from right-to-repair advocates and farmer unions alike. In an era where software locks are treated like state secrets, Mays positions herself as a champion of the dusty, grease-covered underdog, armed not with a wrench but with litigation and a press conference mic. Like Mays, there's a large portion of Americans sharing a strong disapproval of Deere's restrictive repair policies. This sentiment is what you can see all over Reddit threads and online forums. Users are frequently labeling the company's practices as corporate greed and express frustration over farmers being blocked from fixing their own equipment.
Requiring farmers to use John Deere to repair the tractors. John Deere is essentially raising costs on farmers, and that's basically unfair.
It's clear that Attorney General Mays has taken a firm stance against John Deere's repair restrictions, pointing out that the company has essentially found a way to turn broken tractors into a recurring revenue stream. In her view, forcing farmers to rely solely on Deere's official repair channels isn't just inconvenient. It's a clever way to inflate costs under the guise of brand loyalty. For farmers already juggling unpredictable weather and fluctuating crop prices, having to book an appointment with Big Green just to tighten a bolt feels less like customer service and more like corporate gatekeeping. Mays sees this as an unfair system that favors profits over practicality, especially for small-town farmers who'd rather fix things with a wrench than hire a lawyer.
Is this really something that is logical from their perspective and farmers, don't quite understand, or is this actually overreach on their part?
Mark Watton, president of the North Dakota Farmers Union, paints a picture of farmers caught in a serious DIY dilemma: repair their own high-tech tractors or wait on elusive technicians. He stresses how costly delays can become during the sacred planting and harvesting deadlines. Apparently, farming isn't just about dirt and sweat anymore, but also about navigating repair tech dramas. Watton notes that while many equipment manufacturers keep farmers guessing, John Deere has been more progressive with its technology, a polite way of saying it's a bit too controlling. The lawsuit against John Deere, prompted by concerns over software locks and farmers' right to repair, is not exactly a slam dunk for farmers. But Watton hopes it will at least clear up whether farmers are being kept in the repair dark ages by design or just by accident. Either way, it's about time someone decoded the tractor repair enigma.
Now, in the statement, Deere highlighted the fact that FTC Commissioner Andrew Ferguson had a dissenting opinion in the suit, which said the action appears to be the result of brazen partisanship and appears, quote, taken in haste to beat President Trump into office, end quote. Now, one Deere leader calling the lawsuit meritless and promised to vigorously defend itself.
John Deere has strongly rejected the FTC's lawsuit concerning farmers' right to repair, labeling it as unfounded and politically motivated. It says that it will vigorously defend itself. The company then talked about a negative opinion that was criticizing the lawsuit as rushed and partisan, also implying the case is more about timing than merit. To demonstrate some goodwill, the tractor company recently announced new features in its operations center to provide farmers with more tools for equipment diagnostics. There still are critics who might say these high-tech solutions keep control firmly in Deere's hands, rather than fully empowering farmers to manage repairs independently. Overall, Deere's response frames the lawsuit as a politically charged challenge rather than a genuine concern about farmers' repair options, only further bringing attention to the company's desire to maintain its established repair ecosystem.
Look, there's going to be a significant impact to these small towns here around Iowa that have manufacturing facilities for John Deere here. Already this year they've laid almost off 1,000 workers. More cuts are expected at the end of July, and it's going to be devastating for a lot of these small communities for sure.
Chris Larson, a former John Deere employee from Iowa, also brought in an insider perspective to the impact Deere's job cuts are having on small farming towns. These are places where the green and yellow tractor is almost a member of the family. While Larson wasn't exactly forced into early retirement, he chose the contractual option, because who wouldn't jump at an offer like that? The reality for many workers is harsh. Nearly 1,000 layoffs happened that year, with more on the way. In towns where Deere is king, losing those jobs is like pulling the plug on the local economy and social life.
The thing to remember is John Deere is not hurting for cash. They've been in the wake of record profits for years now. In fact, last year in 2023, They experienced $10 billion in profit. They spent $7.2 billion in stock buybacks, paid $1.4 billion in share dividends, and awarded $26.7 million to CEO John May.
Larson reminds us Deere has long been an American icon, famous for quality equipment made by American union workers, a major reason farmers have stayed loyal. But now Deere is shifting production to Mexico, chasing cheaper labor and presumably better margaritas. While corporate profits are soaring, $10 billion the year before, billions spent on stock buybacks, and CEO John May making $27 million, the company is busy building new factories south of the border, moving American jobs overseas for good. Don't forget to check out our video on what happened before this lawsuit.